sequence, allowing candidates to demonstrate their knowledge and skills progressively. Are you seeing that? I said another aspect that you should look at the logical flow of the item. We have to ensure that the learner will follow that logical sequence to demonstrate their knowledge and skills progressively. Not forgetting, of course, the paper that you are trying to set. Is it a practical paper or a theoretical paper? We need to balance that. That's why I said that if we are now looking at item 1, the scenarios should focus at only that aspect for item 1. When it comes for paper 1, when it comes for paper 2, we still have other topics that will rely in for item 1 in paper 2 and item 2 for paper 2. Because now when you look at paper 2, item 1, that is the manipulation of data using different applications. Word processor, spreadsheet presentation, database management system. 4 applications, at least the learner should use 3 for item 1 in paper 2. Then the side that is producing, creating, designing publications or a website. We should look at that aspect. Then another aspect that is very important that you have to look at, that is a clear instruction for this paper. The instructions have to be very clear for the learner. The time allocation. You should give the learner a chance to know the paper is made up of what and what. What is there? Are you seeing that? Your paper should have instructions that will govern the learner on what to do. Now, our paper has 5 scenarios, meaning that you should guide the learner that item 1 is compulsory. We are setting a standard paper. It should have instructions. Then, what else is in the paper? The paper has section B, which has part 1. It has part 2. Those are all instructions. The time allocation and the others. Then lastly, that you should really look at, that is the assessment criteria. Your assessment should be very clear. By the end of you assessing that scenario paper, by the end of you assessing it, my dear teacher, you should be able to generate a guide for that paper. How can you assess what you can't attempt? Remember this item that you have set. Assume that you have set the scenario. It should have a social problem that the learner is likely to solve using the digital ICT tools. Now here the learner is now demonstrating the skills and the knowledge by utilizing the digital ICT tools for the item. Meaning that there will be a recipient, that individual facing that challenge. And the social problems should be seen in the scenario. All of that should be there in our scenario. You have to reflect it, dear. You have to reflect it. Not forgetting that when we are assessing this scenario, each topic I told you that has its own competence. That of course we always just look at and just forego. But it is very crucial and important. I said that we need to basically have simple criteria for the paper. It is aligned with the curriculum. The curriculum is our scenarios, our items are scenario based. Our scenarios should really, we are using real world examples. Remember, our item has that social problem that in fact the learner can really look at and says, yes, we need this tool. We need this tool. We need this tool. That social problem reflects in your scenario. Now, taking an example, let me give you a simple example here of the scenario that you'll see that the recipient, that individual is facing the challenges. The challenges are reflected in your scenario as you are setting it. Now the learner will analyze these social problems and will look through them and will be able to demonstrate the skills and the knowledge. You will be able to identify those digital tools for that particular social problem first. That is our item. Those features should display in your item. Now, for example, we may have a simple scenario here. I told you that due to my network challenges, because I even wanted to share my screen with you, but unfortunately, my laptop has failed to catch up with this place's network. Now I'm using the phone. Nevertheless, I'm glad that you are still here. We are all teachers, you can understand. ICT teachers, of course, you can understand. Salvador is a businessman in Ombokoro village, where he set up a very big farm and he has faced challenges. Now, this individual starts up our scenario and is facing challenges. He has a very big farm and is facing challenges. What are those challenges is facing? This will guide the learner to identify in the responses the appropriate tools that you would use. Challenges like tracking of stock, that is the first challenge. Then the learner will say, which tool will I use to solve the challenge of tracking of stock? Record keeping, which tool can I use to solve this challenge of record keeping? And accurate calculations, which digital tools can I use to solve this challenge? Of course, now we have seen we have 3 over challenges. You would like to solve the challenge of tracking of stock, record keeping, and accurate calculation is facing those challenges. This is now giving the learner, say, now which digital tools am I likely to use here? Remember, the scenario is even halfway. We haven't gone it further. Those are the social problems being faced by the businessman. You are portraying all of that in your scenario. He uses manual methods to keep his sale records in a small notebook. That is another challenge. Maybe he has a notebook where he's writing manually the sales and the profits and what of you. Are you seeing? Those are the social problems I've been talking about all the way. All that has to portray, has to be seen in your scenario. It has to be seen in your scenario. And the scenario isn't yet done. We proceed. We are still looking at the scenario. not yet done. We have said that he uses manual methods to keep his cell records in a small notebook, which has become increasingly inefficient. Are you saying he's facing that? Then there is this criteria now. Of course, we have seen this recipient, this individual. We have now seen the challenges he's facing. That is now it becomes now the task for the learner to solve that social problem being faced. We proceed and we are like, he's been told you are an expert in the self-management and development and would like to improve his farm produce. So he approaches you for the advice on new systems and digital tools with the right guidance. Now your scenario should have another outline of the task. Now this is where we are now asking the learner to bring in his skill, to demonstrate his capability, his knowledge in attempting this scenario. How do we write that task? Because it is also very, very crucial. Our task can be of part A and B. It can have that criteria. Or it can be a single task. Now, for example, here we said provide a write-up advising Salvador on implementing new systems and digital tools to improve his farm operation. It is a single task. But now here, of course, the learner will be tasked to have those digital tools plus their maintenance measures for the better farm operation. But all the tools that the learner is likely to bring down should respond, should solve the social problems that you had to highlight in the scenario. What are we looking at? I said we are using real world examples. We have to look at that, because you said that this session will have us 1 hour. And it is I just came in late to the network. Then maybe I will conclude from here with a few key points. Now, of course, your scenario, as it looks in that figure, what are we not forgetting? You should not forget that we are using real world examples. There should be time allocation. You should have your marking scheme, the validity and reliability of the item. Of course, that is the assurance of the assessment measures. What is intended to measure and produce constant results for the sake of the item. A lot is there. Now, the skill that we are likely to check in for our learners here, we are talking about programming skills, the software application skills, networking skills, and database management skills. We are looking at all of that, because for all of the topics that we looked at, they have their own outcomes. But the basic thing that you as a teacher, you should put in mind are the topics that make up each item. As you set your scenario, ensure that it looks or it lies under a clear competence. Look at the relevant topics. For item 1, I said, has its own topics. Item 2 and 3, they have their own topics. And the moment you bring in a topic, mind you, You are now bringing in the construct. There are constructs now that are governing again those topics C, as I told you earlier before. You should mind, are you looking at a practical paper or a theoretical paper? You should balance all that. Look at the logical flow of your assignment. Then the clear instructions have to be there. Kindly guide learners by giving them clear instructions over the set paper. Then assessment criteria should be there. Those are the guiding scores. Your mark sheet should be there. We would share a lot. We would really share a lot. But time also, honestly, isn't on our side. And unfortunately, I've been challenged that I've not been able to share my screen with you people to really see what I have here, and we share and we learn more. And you kindly allow me at this moment, except if there is any question to be raised, please, Mr. Tom, kindly allow me. I think I get back to you, because we had organized this, I think, just for 1 hour. And we'd love to make it 1 hour so that people can do other things. I really appreciate whoever has been able to align with us. I believe next time we'll share the screen and people see more and learn more. So, Mr. Tom, I'm getting back to you, except when there is anything more. Thank you, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Khan. We strongly appreciate the guidance, your time. It has been unfortunate that we're unable to see the presentation, but I think with time we are going to be okay. Now, ideally, I expect at least 1 or 2 questions. We have around 6 minutes to the end. Any person with a burning question can at least put up a hand in case there is any. Alternatively, we can write in the chat as quickly as possible. But also, through the guidance of Mr. Khan, and now that one of our values and one of the things that we want to prioritize is the capacity building, where every teacher on our WhatsApp forum can be able to set a standard paper. It could be a good action plan in case we can have this as ourselves and be like, you know what, I need to come up with an item this week. In most cases, in our ITAU WhatsApp groups, we find that this information is shared, but again, there is a lot of criticism, which criticism I think builds us for the better. So anybody who uses the knowledge that he has acquired through the Each One Teach One series, feel free to share the paper, share an item. Since this is capacity building, we strongly believe things will get better. Any questions? I'm not seeing any question in the chat, neither seeing anybody putting up a hand. So I want to assume that we don't have a question. This is a very insightful session that we feel we may not have adequate time for it. But of course, with time, yes, somebody is saying, share with us the presentation, Mr. Khan. Yeah, I think that one can be handled. He can respond better to that. I'm sure he had organized one. And this, in addition to that, we are meeting again next week. And as we are planning to meet, we expect that we are going to have Mr. Luchams, our president. He will be taking us through generating a marking guide for sub-ICT. The following week, we are likely to have the national coordinator, Mr. Dumba, taking us through creating or use of AI in teaching and learning. So we believe that will be okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Khan. We want to end there, preferably with at least a closing prayer. And randomly, I will choose, unless Mr. Khan has something to say first.
Mr. Tom,
Mm.
thank you very much. Before we wind up, I also add upon on your voice that we should really use these groups so well. We have shared their matter, we have shared their papers, materials there. Let's use these papers so well. Because I shared there so many papers, videos are there. Let's follow those links and you can learn many things into those YouTube channels that we created. You set a paper, you send, someone says marking guide, then you're like, what should I do now? Nevertheless, it gives someone urge, okay? And I've been so happy that people have been here over 30 something. Let's keep the spirit. And next time, the president is coming in, the coordinator is coming in. What does it imply? That we should continue to teach and learn from one another. Let's keep sharing. Otherwise, thanks everyone for joining. I get back to you, Mr. Tom. Thank you so much.
Okay. There is another question. Kindly respond to it before we close. What is the maximum number of topics to be set in an item? Yes, Mr. Khan?
I beg your pardon, please. What are you saying, mister?
Yes, there is a question that was burning. It says, what is the maximum number of topics to be set in an item?
Thank you so much. I said that each item has got its reliance topics. Now, for example, item 1 has over 7 topics from which we can generate this scenario, from which we can build our scenario. I said topic 1 itself, introduction to ICT, where we shall see that the learner uses various ICT tools. We shall see the concept of ICT and integrated terminologies. That is topic 1. I said topic 2 itself, computer hardware and system setup. Topic 9, word processor 2. Topic 10, spreadsheet 2. Topic 12, database management system. 15, basic software management, and 16, system and database and data security. That is item 1. And I said for item 2 and 3, there are 4 topics from which we can generate our scenarios. Information and access sharing, that is topic 7. Topic 8, health and safety. Topic 14, electronic waste management. Topic 16, that is system data security. And if you have gone further and you observe onto the few papers you have seen, the scenarios rely much under health and safety, electronic management waste. You find item 2 is looking at health and safety, then part B of item 2, electronic management waste. Or it is looking at electronic management waste and system data security. Are you seeing? Each item can take 2 topics, then another can take the other 2 topics. Then I said item 4 and 5, it has also 4 topics. That is topic 3, file and folder management. Topic 7, information access and sharing. Topic 11, electronic publication. Topic 13, that is web design. Information access, storage and sharing using ICTs. That is the construct that we are looking at and trying to fulfill in the due course. You find item 4 is looking at file management and information access, topic 3 and 7. Then the other is looking at 5 and 13. Are you seeing that? So getting back to your concept that you find an item having 2 topics, but for item 1 has over 7 topics from which we can generate the scenario. I think I've tried to rely on the answer your question, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. 1 minute past 9. I'm going to randomly request Sir Isaac Kwagala, if you can unmute, you give us closing remarks, probably with a prayer as well, and we close. We meet again next week. Remember, we've been powered by the ICT Teachers Association of Uganda. The people that have requested to be added, I think I'm going to do that in a few. Then please kindly follow our social media handles. Some of these things can easily be handled. You'll find that you'll be in need of a topic that has ever been discussed. You can check the YouTube channel for ICT Teachers Association of Uganda. We are powered by Shareability, Rapt Creative Academy, Izon School of Computing, and therefore, Sir Isaac Wagala. Kindly unmute, introduce yourself and the school since you came in a little late, and then we can close.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Sir Isaac Wagala. I'm speaking from Iganga Town View SS. It is very unfortunate that I came in late. I delayed to catch up. However, I think next time everything will be better for me and the other colleagues who probably might have missed this session. Sakan, thank you so much for the opportunity. We need to continue with this same spirit because ICT is a human right. Allow me to draw your attention to a closing prayer, then we call it off. Loving Father, King of Glory, we thank you for this session. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for whatever we have managed to share tonight. May we continue with such spirit, dear God, as we close it off. Continue blessing us such that we all grow together in as far as ICT is concerned. Please guide us on the right path, the path of those whom you bestowed your favors, not the path of those whom you restored your wrath. We pray all this in your name and we say amen.
Okay. Thank you everyone for attending. I want to wish you well. Until next week, let us try to put this in practice for the better. Yes, these days people say ICT is a basic need. I want to wish you well. Have a